love it when they count me out. I love it when they count me out.
It's a seamless transition.
You like that?
I like that.
You like that?
Federico.
Clock in. Clock in. Clock in.
It's gonna be a good one.
Clock in.
Yeah. Real funky vibes for episode 83.
Shout out to Franklin Saint, man. This got Snowfall.
That's one of the best names ever.
Oh, for sure.
Like Franklin's not a great name, but to add Saint to it
makes a huge difference.
Come on.
9 o'clock in, baby.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
There's more to come as far as football.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming back.
know that.
We on our Grussle, our grind and our hustle.
You know what it is. Eco's good.
Here with my brothers again. I just want to say I'm glad,
If you rock with us,
happy,
man, say amen.
and I'm blessed. Amen. Here we are. Let's
If you
get
rock
right
with us,
into
say
the
amen.
segments, brother. Amen.
Clock in.
Or just clock.
Clock in.
Episode 83. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to it, man. It's a little toasty in here, but that's okay, because we bring the heat. Let's take off.
Shout out to AIKO.
That was a good intro.
That was an amazing intro. That was immaculate, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to E, man. Shout out to Grussle, man, for providing us. For providing us the
We on our Grussle, our grind and our hustle.
The audible sensations. The audible sensations.
episode 83.
Clock in.
Co-host here,
Clock
Clock
in.
the Podcast, Marshall Hamilton.
Co-host Austin Hamilton here. Episode 83. We talked about this before we hit record, but there's no cool well, if you're a Patriots fan, Wes Welker was 83.
There's no swaggy 83.
Yeah.
You know,
We said Algie Crumpler.
He's a blue collar, hardworking type player. Shout out to Wes Welker, but
Algie Crumpler. Darren Waller, he's with the Raiders. He's pretty good.
He's playing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's one of the best tight ends.
I can't. He's not.
He's not like T.O.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm not
That's all I'm
gonna
gonna say
name
on
an
T.O.
episode after him.
Nah.
But shout out to AIKO Underwood, our sponsor. AIKO is a real estate agent with ARISTA Real Estate, registered in Virginia. I say this all the time. Like, she's someone who has experience helping people, buy and sell homes, but she also has multiple properties herself. So if you're looking for someone who is just going to go all out for you, and, for me, the fact that she has homes just adds more credibility. Like, I know some real estate agents who actually don't have a home.
What they doing? Where they live at?
At
apartments?
Apartments. But shout out to AIKO. She keeps the lights on, but like Austin said, it's toasty in here, so we gotta talk to her about the AC. we need a little bit more. That
cooling system, dog. That's kind of expensive. Not gonna hold you.
But before we get into just the usual, introductory shenanigans, had a cool moment on social media with someone who's been rocking with us since day one. So for those who may be newer listeners or may have been listening for a little bit but don't really know the background as to how we started the podcast, it really started out as a fitness accountability movement that Austin started during COVID, where he would work out and he would tag me and other people and say clock in, posted it on the story, and then we would tag other people. And it just kind of gained some steam, right? It was a positive movement and message that people could really gravitate to during COVID, because most people actually no one had access to a gym at that point. So, anyways, Rachel Berman is someone who has been rocking with us since day one. As far as clocking in on IG, I know she bought some gear. She probably listens to the pod. She's always liking our stuff. So today she tagged us in a post. And,
today or yesterday?
Maybe it was yesterday. And essentially she talked about how she ran a marathon. I'm not too familiar with her background, and I've never actually met her, but
she went to South Lakes.
Okay.
Got a bunch of mutual friends. She's good people, man. I've known her for some time. Actually, she had an event. Her dad passed away from cancer.
Right.
And had an event, I believe, a few weeks ago. And I stopped by just to show love. I actually donated a free training session.
That's what's up.
But she's good people, man.
Yeah, and I saw in the caption that her dad passed, but I honestly I didn't know how you knew her. I figured you did, but obviously, first of all, running a marathon is tough, right? And
how many miles is that?
I think it's 26.2. Yeah, shout out to the marathon mark, 26.2. So Rachel ran 19.52 of that 26.2, and I believe she walked the rest, which
that's tough.
There's no shame in that at all, because a lot of people, they can't run a couple miles. And she shouted us out for reminding her just to keep her, in her words, keep her butt moving, right, and just staying after it. And I know it was an emotional moment for her because I don't know how recent her dad passed, but she said she referenced how she felt her dad's presence during the marathon. So shout out to Rachel. Proud of you. Now that I know you're local, definitely want to get a chance to meet you.
She lives in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she lives in New York, but
she was back home for
that event. I'm sure she comes home pretty often.
Yeah, when we have our live show, hopefully episode 100, which is coming, we definitely want to make sure that she gets an invite and gets some VIP treatment. So thank you for tagging us and reminding us why what we do is still important. All right, let's get into it, man. NFL team results. I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. You guys are probably like, why? And I ask myself the same question sometimes.
Anybody in the AFC South, but I question their fandom.
Oh yeah, right now. I mean, he's a Tennessee Titans fan, and our team's been rivals for years, and our division is looking pretty bad right now.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you guys are winning.
We're leading the division at 1-1.
There's a team that tied.
Two teams in the division that tied because they played against each other.
Titans are 0-2. It's just a travesty. Yeah, man. If you watched Monday Night Football, you witnessed a murder.
Yeah, it was a crime what the Bills did to y'all. In all 50 states.
Anything that could have went wrong for the Titans went wrong. I've never seen a team muff 2 punts and the opposing team recover them. Pick 6. I think there was a fumble.
Malik Willis fumble.
I've been watching the Titans since I was 6.
It's the worst I've seen them play ever.
I've never I remember we played the Patriots when we had Randy Moss and they destroyed us. They won 50-something to 7. But that game, nah. I've never seen that happen before. And yeah, it's just frustrating because the Titans have earned a reputation of being a solid team, winning the division 2 years in a row, number 1 seed last year, made it to AFC Championship 3 years ago. So to see that, it's because there's a standard now,
right? Especially
under Coach Mike Vrabel.
Yep.
And to go out like that on freaking national TV, it's just if you're a Titans fan, you're embarrassed right now. But I'm optimistic to a certain extent. It's still early.
It's the AFC South.
And it's the AFC South, so You literally could win 7 games, maybe even 6 games, and freaking.
Oh, don't disrespect.
Don't disrespect what?
Don't disrespect my team like that.
I mean, I don't know how many games y'all.
We definitely gonna win 8. We gonna win 8 games this year. Mark my words. We're gonna win 8 games this year.
Okay.
Y'all will probably still find a way to win the division, but honest.
Honestly, I believe y'all could win at least 8 or 7 or 8.
We have a tough schedule, but
our schedule is loaded.
Yeah, I mean the AFC South has a tough non-division schedule.
We play the Cowboys, right? Because we're playing.
Yeah, we play the NFC East, and then we play the AFC.
Dak is out.
The AFC West, I think.
So that means we gotta play.
Hold on, let me check. Let me check on that. Let me make sure.
Are the Chargers in that division?
Let's see. We play.
Yeah.
I don't. I know we play the Chargers. Yeah, we play the AFC West, which is the best division in football. Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders.
Good boy.
I'm not really worried about the NFCs, even though we lost to the Commandos or whatever you would name.
Well, we lost to the worst team in the division, which is the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about them.
So I'm worried. We got to go to Philly. We got to play Dallas. Dak will probably be back. Like the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean,
that won't be an easy one.
I think you're right that whoever makes the playoffs out of our division, it's not going to be a good record. It'll be like 9-8, or something. And I mean, the Texans and Colts already screwed themselves over by tying.
Yeah, that's
which is the worst thing you can do, and that's probably the worst thing you can do in all sports.
The fact that
other than soccer,
the fact that they even let them tie is kind of whack. Like why?
Yeah, like do it.
Can you tie in basketball? Probably not.
No.
We should look. I don't know. I mean, I doubt it.
I mean, have a freaking field goal like
free
throw off or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Penalty shootout. You're an Eagles fan, D. How you feeling, man?
It's good. It's been a great week.
Been a great 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, Hurts looks great.
He's a leader, man. He's a leader.
Yeah, he's always been a leader.
He's a winner.
AJ Brown looks great, who we traded away. I'm not too salty about that. I mean, the defense, Darius Slay could have like 9 interceptions.
What's my guy's name? The wideout they drafted from Alabama. First name starts with a D, I believe. Young boy, super fast. Devontae Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Devontae Smith.
Yeah, he's a problem.
Yeah, he's cold.
Super wiry.
Yeah.
He's like a Deshaun Jackson almost.
Yeah, he's different.
He's probably a better route runner, but yeah, they got weapons, man. They really do. Like, they're definitely a front runner for NFC champions. So, yeah, NFL, I'm glad it's back. For my stress level, it's not great being a Titans fan. But, like, it's just, the beauty of it is, on Monday night, Thursday night, all day Sunday, sometimes even Saturdays, like, there's something to watch.
Right.
I don't have to scramble and try to find something on Netflix or HBO Max. I know I'm going to watch football, and it's going to be amazing.
And here's the thing about not just football, but sports in general. We have young kids and stuff like that, and I mean anyone can watch it, right? There's no, because as a parent, especially these days, I mean, you got Netflix, Disney Plus for kids, you got Hulu stuff for kids. I mean, YouTube, and then you have your adult shows that they can't watch. Sports is like the perfect middle ground, right? Mm-hmm. And then honestly, that's why we got into basketball and liking other sports. We watched it all the time. My dad always had it on. This is back when you had to wait for the TV guide, which took 10 minutes to see what's on TV for every channel.
God, I remember those days. It was so slow.
But dog,
we've come a long way, man. We've come a long way.
It was wild. So yeah, that's what I love about this time of year. It's the best time of year for sports. You got college football, NFL, NBA about to start. NCAA about to start. NCAA basketball, men and women's. You got
once November
playoff baseball.
Once November hits, I don't think. Don't ever ask me to watch a show. I'm watching sports.
Yeah, facts. Facts. Yeah, man, it's a great time of year. Great time of year. But we just mentioned a bunch of different leagues. This is a perfect segue into I think one of my favorite polls, or I don't know what you want to call it. We used to do a lot of polls back in the day where I had my top 5 or something, and he had his top 5. It was actually dope. We should get back to doing that more. But this episode, we want to talk about the top 5 athletes who could cross over to another sport. The top 5 athletes who could cross over to another sport.
Clock in.
So we got to make a graphic, post
Clock
this
in.
on social so that y'all can vote. And then we want to hear y'all's top 5. But when we talk about crossover to another sport, we're not just talking about like leisurely, right? Like playing recreationally. We're talking about going from like the NBA to the NFL, MLB to that type of deal. So I'll give my list, all right, and then I don't know if you have your list up. I can.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, bet. So all right, here's mine.
And this is current players.
Current players, yeah. Current players.
I mean, obviously there's Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders,
right?
But this is current players.
All right, so here's my number 1, Kyler Murray to the MLB. All right, the reason why I said number 1 is because he actually got drafted in the first round, and he contemplated which sport he wanted to play.
That's wild.
Yeah, so honestly, man,
would he have made more?
Yeah, for sure, 100% playing baseball.
What position was he? Did he play at where did he go?
He played at Oklahoma. Yeah, he was cold.
He built like a baseball player with them big forearms.
Right. Yeah. I don't
Forearms.
remember which position, but honestly, it kind of confirms. Like I definitely want to used to play baseball.
Yeah, baseball is fire, dog.
I definitely wanted to play baseball.
We gotta bring the culture back to you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because
shout out to the kid, man. Anytime I can shout out Griffey, shout out Griffey, man.
Man, I mean, you look at like that era was wild, man. Not to get off topic, but like a baseball player had a signature shoe that everyone wore. A football player had a signature shoe that everyone wore. Deion's and Griffey's. Even Bo Jackson had some joints that people used to rock.
Oh, Bo Jackson was cold.
Bo Jackson's, bro.
Yeah.
People still do.
Yeah, like.
And then, like, from a Griffey standpoint, like, there's shoes that are from other athletes from different sports that are inspired by, like Griffey. Like, Bron has Griffey-inspired basketball shoes.
Right.
Like, his impact, dog.
Griffey, there needs to be a 30 for 30. Actually, I think is there one with him and his father? I think there's
maybe.
One. But
I don't know if there's a 30
for
on 30.
There needs to be one on him.
But I would say just that era of like black baseball players.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
Yeah, Kenny.
Yeah. Kenny Lofton, who you look like? I look like Kenny Lofton. Who you look like? You know you look like Tony Gwynn a little bit.
I look like Kenny Lofton. Kenny was smooth though.
Kenny had the chain, yeah.
Just how you know, like the culture, like Griffey was in Fresh Prince. I think Kenny might have been in Fresh Prince.
I think Kenny was in that joint.
Like anytime you had, athletes
in the sitcoms, they walk in.
Yeah, right.
We got to do say this. This is how they come in the joint.
The studio audience applause. And I just love how it just pauses on them for like a second. There's no words. There's no dialogue.
All the characters are staring at them smiling.
There's just no dialogue. Yeah, that was fire, man.
We gotta bring the black sitcoms back, but yeah, I mean, and look, man, this is not. We kind of talked about the whole GOAT debate. Greatest athlete of all time. Jordan's different, man. Like, you think about it, why did black people stop playing baseball because of Jordan? Like, if you look at it, more people started focusing on basketball, like black people, because of Jordan. That's really, if you look at what changed, it was Jordan's popularity.
It got expensive too.
It did. No, that played a part. Definitely played a part. But Jordan had a big part in that shift from, because that was the first sport that like professional sport that black people, like team sport that black people played, was, you had Negro League baseball in like the early 1900s. There wasn't no NBA, NFL, or anything
That'd be
like
dope
that.
to get somebody that played like in the Negro Leagues on a pod.
That was the first sport where we were able to break in. And so it was kind of like people were kind of craving to prove that they can make it in the majors and make an impact.
I really enjoyed baseball growing up.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like in my athletic career, I regret not really diving into baseball. Like naturally, I was good at it, but basketball, like you said, the Jordan effect, man, just took over.
Yeah, I mean in our era, AI, Kobe,
And
LeBron, and one. I just watched that documentary the other day.
Crazy.
Basketball was just
dog. You know how much money they would make if that happened now?
what
Dog, they'd be sponsored.
They'd be sponsored by. I mean, dog, and in a documentary, I know we go on tangents, and we'll come back eventually. But the ESPN Streetball show, we used to watch that joint every week.
Yeah.
To me, that was the best reality show. I don't care about that was the best reality show. It was a realist.
It'll come on.
It was
come
a realist.
on randomly, in the summers. I was watching that joint
For real.
Yeah.
Because it's not. There's nothing scripted.
Well, there is some script. It's definitely
yeah. I'm not gonna say nothing,
but you're still hooping.
But I'm talking about the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's just them, and it was a #1 show. For months, on ESPN, it was a #1.
They were
show.
bigger stars than NBA players.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, they influenced.
I bet you Hot Sauce's net worth, back then, was more than an NBA player who's probably a star, an all-star.
Yeah.
They weren't getting paid though.
But they weren't.
Yeah. Well, they did say that. I mean, this doesn't mean much, but there were people on the N1 tour who were getting paid more than N1 sponsored NBA athletes. But I mean, it was N1 still.
I mean, the only people getting paid were Hot Sauce and the Professor.
As far as big money, yeah.
That Nike commercial though.
It ended everything. That's one of the best commercials of all time.
Man, and it really.
But the beat,
yeah, when everyone was dribbling with Jay Will.
Did you see the N1
Yeah.
Netflix joint? So
Yeah.
they played that and they were like, oh, when this came out.
yeah, we're done.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
But for the culture, dog, people bought their shoes just to get the free mixtape.
I had them.
I
joints.
did.
Yeah.
I had the little
I
suede.
bought that joint from Sports.
The all black joints.
Nah, I ain't never had nothing all black.
But one of my favorite parts about that,
that.
how dope were the tees though?
Oh yeah, the sayings
That would have the sayings on it.
Yeah.
I love that. I wore that joint.
Those were so fire.
Nah, they were tough.
They had the velour sweats too.
Yeah, the little N1, yeah.
N1 was lit.
Yeah, N1 was like that.
And there was the little nerdy dude designing everything.
Right, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were all white.
I didn't either. I mean, I'm not surprised now.
It's not
I'm older, and I'm like, okay, yeah.
But they just didn't seem like they. Watching that documentary, it didn't seem like they had the swag or the know-how to create what they created.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem like something that those type of people would create. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I mean, pick up basketball. That's the beauty of it, man. I mean, you meet people from all walks of life, right? So they probably were around people like us, and then that's how they
Those are just universal, phrases though. Everyone's saying, I don't care what country you're from, you know what N1 means.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I'm about to get a bucket means, or give me that ish. You know what that means.
Yes.
They solidified it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mainstream thing until N1 came out.
Yep.
You only knew that on the court.
Yeah.
And when you left the court, you went back to regular vernacular.
Right. The logo was like perfect for street ball.
You know, N1 had an influence because they made E. Like, he used to have handles.
Yeah, facts. Like, for
he
real.
used to have handles.
For real, like,
and he wasn't like a hooper like that.
I'm telling you, I wore that shirt all the time.
Yeah.
Bro.
And like, a lot of my ball handling skills. I mean, I've always been a naturally good ball handler, but I would I'd like sit in front of the car. Headache was my guy, yeah. And I would just practice moves, right? And we're going off on a tangent, but this point I'm about to make is important.
It means a lot to us.
There are so many players that are, don't play like in the NBA anymore, but even current players that just learned how to have a natural rhythm and flow to their game by just playing street ball, but also like emulating N1.
Yeah.
Right. It's pure, and that's what we're missing today, right? Just being able to just freestyle, dribbling, like the way freestyle is a rap, where it's just like you're just reacting. You're not thinking, right? That's what street ball is like. That's what N1 was like. And nowadays we have so many kids who they're robots, right? Like back then there was no such thing as a hezzy, right? There's all these names for moves now. This stunt dribble. It's like y'all know black people didn't name this stuff.
Nah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go.
It's the analytical people.
Yeah. So it's just like that's part of why so many players like in our era, even way before our era, because street ball's been around for years. Like, you know what I'm saying. But it really hit its peak in the early and mid 2000s. So,
what were we talking about again?
We're talking about the top 5 athletes who cross. All right. Let's start over. So
Kyler Murray.
Yeah. I got to start over because for the social media clip, this isn't gonna look good. All right. So number 1 for me, Kyler Murray to MLB. Number 2, LeBron James to NFL.
Yeah.
Shout out. We gotta get Coach Savage on. He doesn't think LeBron would do well. He said he's too upright and too stiff. But I mean, LeBron's just a freak athlete.
What position?
As a tight end?
I'd have him at tight end. I wouldn't have him as a wideout. But I'd have him as a tight end.
He ain't blocking, bro.
No.
Nah, you don't got there's receiving tight ends and then there's blocking tight ends and there's very few who do both well. Steph Curry to the PGA. I like this one.
Yeah.
Because Steph can golf. Like,
no, he's legit.
He doesn't play. Here's my sleeper pick that no one probably would have expected me to say. Gary Payton II to the NFL. Gary Payton II as a corner or safety. I mean, come on, man. That dude, first of all, his vertical's crazy. Laterally, he's super quick and fast. He's physical. Like, I think he could legit go to the NFL. Like, today. And then lastly, this is another one. Nick Kyrgios, who's
a freaking head case.
He's a head case. He's a nut. But I rock with him a little bit because, I don't know, I just rock with him. I rock with his swag.
Yeah. He's not your typical tennis player.
He can actually hoop. Like, not like Adam Sandler, celebrity game hoop. Like, he can actually hoop.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", I think. And I think
he might be taller than that.
Yeah, he may be like 6'6", 6'7". But I think he could play like overseas. Somewhere.
Where was he playing? Was that a celebrity game?
That was a celebrity game. But, I mean, he looked like, it wasn't like.
Nah, he's nice.
Yeah. Like Chris Brown, you see Chris Brown play. Chris Brown has like the. I can't respect his game. I don't care how many points he scores. He has like. He has the guy who tried out for the team but never made it because he just wasn't popular. But he would cook a little bit in tryouts.
He was too influenced by N1.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, but
Chris can hoop, like he can hoop, but
I just can't respect it.
Wait, so Adam Sandler can't hoop, man?
He can hoop, but
he's a YMCA hooper.
Yeah.
There's a difference between YMCA hooper and then like pro-am hooper.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Like, he can't go to the Drew. Shout out to the Drew.
Put some respect on Adam Sandler's name.
Adam can go.
He can
go.
Yeah, but he
be diming folks.
Like Nick Kyrgios.
But there's levels.
Yeah, there's levels. Like he can hoop. So that's my top 5. Kylie Murray to MLB, LeBron to the NFL, Steph Curry to PGA, Gary Payton II to NFL, and Nick Kyrgios to overseas basketball.
No, that's a great list. So my number 1 was Bron to NFL. Again, he's one of the best athletes physically that we've ever seen. Kyler to the MLB at number 2. And this was a sleeper one. Chris Paul to the PBA.
I like this one a lot. I'm actually sick at it.
Yeah, he's a really good bowler. I'm pretty sure he does like a charity event every year.
It's on ESPN too.
Yeah.
It's funny. He be getting Chris Paul is mad competitive.
Yeah, super competitive.
He actually be getting mad at the joints.
Like I've seen the clips of like Kevin Hart when he was in it, and Kevin, was doing his act, and he's just like, "Yo, get on my face." Number 4, Steph to PGA. Great golfer. He's also doing a lot for golf, just in general. I know there's a partnership with Howard. First of all, just change the topic, but Howard just got a sponsorship with Jordan. Do you see that?
Nah, I didn't.
Shout out to Tyler Dorton. He's an assistant coach on Howard's basketball team. But if you look at like his page, he posts a lot of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, dog, like they got their own shoe. Fire.
I gotta follow Tyler on.
It's amazing to me that Howard, like athletically, just isn't getting the financial support, and because I actually took a visit to Howard when I was getting recruited, and I'll keep it a buck with y'all. I only took the visit because it was during homecoming. And you know,
right.
and you know Howard's homecoming.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's legendary. Like I saw Rick Ross, Trina. This is when Cole
wasn't Wale there.
I'm sure he was there.
Yeah.
J. Cole was there. Like when
Forest Hill Drive.
Nah, this was like beginning of Cole. I think when the single with
that's
with
Workout
Miguel came out.
Oh, the not Workout.
He was
that
like
was
just got on.
Yeah.
He was at the steps.
Why is that song?
I forget.
I know, yeah.
But great visit. Like dad and mom, they came, but they just didn't have the facilities, though.
Yeah,
and
facilities aren't great.
They weren't great. So it's cool to see that they're starting to get the publicity and support.
It's also like a 4-to-1 like girl to guy ratio at that joint.
Yeah,
too.
it was.
So I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why. Like athletically,
great academic school.
Yeah,
too.
that may play a part in why they don't get so.
But all the alumni that have gone there, it's like I don't know, whatever. And then number 5, and honestly, this is the person who inspired this list. Mookie Betts to the NFL. If you look at, I can't remember who posted it, like if it was ESPN or one of those pages, but Mookie was literally video him running routes.
Yeah.
He looked like a legit receiver. So I put him to the NFL. He was hooping, like he can hoop. Obviously he plays baseball. So like, I mean that dude, he's definition of an athlete.
You know who I'm thinking about who maybe
I'm sure there's some honorable mentions.
Yeah, so my honorable mention, Aaron Judge to the NFL as a tight end. He actually was like all-state football.
He looks like a tight end.
Yeah, he's built like a tight end.
Like Jimmy Graham. He kind of looked like Jimmy Graham.
He looked like
Tony Gonzalez.
Nah, he looked like Aaron Gordon and
and
Dwight
Blake
Powell,
Griffin.
like a Dwight Powell mix.
That whole family.
Yeah, he in that LSU.
I tell you another one. I'll tell you another one. OBJ to MLB.
Okay.
He looks like he could play baseball. And I'm pretty sure I've seen clips.
Yeah, he'd be a good outfielder.
Steve Nash.
Soccer. Yeah, Steve Nash. I mean, I'm sure there's guys that like could run track. You know what I'm saying? That we haven't thought about. But
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody in the freaking NFL.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. But yeah, that's it, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. And we want to get y'all's thoughts on IG, Facebook. All right, we got a quick clock in and clock out. All right.
I didn't even see this on the docket.
He's slacking on the.
I'm looking at the notes. I don't see no clock in or clock out.
Keep going, champ. Should be in there. It's sitting like
Nah,
2
it
seconds.
ain't in there.
That's
It
my
ain't in
bad.
there.
Quick joint. All right. Are you clocked in or clocked out that the NBA should move draft eligibility back to 18?
Yeah, I'm clocked in on that. I mean, what's the? I'm trying to think of if anybody. All right, Zion, for example. We knew Zion was NBA ready. You know, just seeing him dunk on these white boys from wherever the heck he's from, South Carolina. Like, you could see it physically, he's ready. Plays at Duke, and didn't he hurt his knee?
Yeah, he hurt his knee.
Hurt his knee. Imagine if he, drastically tears his ACL. I mean, he's missing out on an opportunity to financially change his life and his family's life.
Right.
So, like, that risk to go to college when you know you're going to go to the NBA the next year, like, who does that profit? I mean, like, obviously the institution, but again, what's a year difference when you know they're going to go to the NBA the next year? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. If you're gonna make them go to college, have it be like in college where you got to play 2 years.
You mean like football?
Football, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
I think that's more valuable, than them just playing 1 year. So, yeah, I never understood literally 1 year. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm clocked in on it too, and it's funny because the caption says changing draft age eligibility from 19 to 18 and citing mental health similar to physical injury are in serious talks with NBA and NBPA. So that's the NBPA is the Players Association, kind of like their union or whatever. So I don't know where the mental health side comes in. I would imagine it's kind of what you said.
Is that separate from the?
I think it's included. I think they're saying that's a reason why they should move it back to 18. I guess kids who, go to college and, maybe it hurt them more than it would have helped them type of deal. But I remember they started this rule because there's a period from like 03 to 05 where like all the, maybe 06, where all the like high school players just like didn't do well, right? Did not pan out. I think 04 was like the last class that really had like Dwight Howard was like, that class was like the last class that had successful guys come out of high school. Now, to me, Jalen Rose, if you listen to his Earn Your Leisure episode, right, really good podcast in general. But Jalen Rose brought up a good point, and he's controversial, which I like. He was like, the only sports that have a draft age limit or what's the word? Not limit, but restriction are football and basketball, which are predominantly black athletes,
and
profit the most. Yeah, and because here's what it comes down to. These schools are losing money when they can't have a Zion go to Duke. They can't have, let's say LeBron would have went to Ohio State or Duke, right? You know how much money that they lost out on, these schools. So it's economics. And, he kind of took it down a like deeper path. I don't know if I would go as far as what he did, but...
What did he say?
It's basically like the mindset of using black people for labor. The NCAA is basically no different in the sense that, they're profiting off of black labor essentially, and these athletes aren't getting paid. For it.
Is he?
Yeah. There's validity to what he's saying. I don't, but you know how I am when it comes to comparing it to slavery. Like that's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's where I draw the line because it's like, come on, man. Like, but I get the analogy is what I'm trying to say. I think LeBron is driving this,
What? Okay. I mean, keep going.
It's not a knock. He always thinks I'm talking bad about
No,
LeBron.
I'm just...
I mean, think about it.
It's crazy to me. This dude LeBron. LeBron just be sitting, chilling, drinking Lobos. And then somehow LeBron gets in the
You
topic.
seen the Ray J joint? Like, Ray J was on live talking about the Kardashians, and there was a bug on him.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, see? Kris Jenner sending everything. That's what he was doing.
Look,
I'm playing.
He's been talking about his son, playing with the son and stuff like that.
But he hasn't... Okay, keep going.
He's talked about it.
About him not going to college?
About wanting to play with his son. And if his son... If he has an option to go straight from...
Has
high school
LeBron
to the
said
NBA?
that, though? I don't know if he said that. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know, but he didn't have to. This is my opinion. I'm not saying it's a fact, but people. How long have people been talking about? It's dumb that these kids have to go to school for a year. We've been talking about this for over a decade. We have been it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So his son's about to graduate, and he who runs the NBPA? Chris Paul. Who's one of his best friends? Chris Paul. I don't think, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not here like, oh my God, LeBron is ruining stuff.
I'm just laughing because
I think he has influence, and it's part of what makes him great.
I'm sure.
That's when I say he's driving, he's. I'm not saying he's he's plotting. There's nothing to plot. I'm just saying because we all agree it's the right thing, and I think it's a good thing that if it's true that he is driving.
I only laugh because this dude LeBron, he's in discussions with everything.
Well, because he has LeBron has had the most influence over things more than any player in the league. Jordan, as far as his performance and his aura or whatever, but LeBron he's more into the political side and he's good at it. It's part of what makes him great to me. He's influenced things that Jordan wouldn't even dare to get involved with. Right?
I think it certainly helps, but if you look at kind of what they're doing with the G League, and them trying to groom some of these younger guys and them investing more in the G League, I think it's more attributed to that. They want it to be similar to a European model. And we've had discussions about this with Ray and what they want to do with the NBA academy and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it's more attributed to that.
Yeah.
And maybe the timing, and I'm sure the LeBron stuff helps, but I mean Bronny's taking visits to colleges. So he's not he just going straight to the NBA.
Yeah, he should.
But
And look,
we'll see.
And here's the thing.
It was always stupid to me. You can go to war at 18. You're considered a man at 18. Why can't you go to get a job at 18? But going back to Jalen's point,
it's economic.
Exactly.
I kind of understand football, though.
Football.
I kind of understand
Yes.
football. You have an argument.
Football, yes.
Physical, you're not, your body's not the same.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Would there ever be a developmental league for the NFL? Could they do that? Is that possible? I mean,
I think they should.
The league is so big.
You know what?
I think
the
they
Power
should.
5 schools.
It's 60 players per team already.
The Power 5 schools, though.
But think about how many players that could either that fall out of the league or don't make a roster that still can play. That just they just kind of wither away. From a mental health perspective, I think it would be hugely beneficial because football is such a emotional, aggressive sport that I think it's one of the toughest. I think it's the toughest sport to transition out of as a man. And the thing is,
football.
Yeah, and I think the thing is there are so many football players who have so much football left in them, but they, for whatever reason, they couldn't stay on a roster. So if you had a league similar, I think it would be beneficial. How that would play out, I don't know. I mean, I think they could partner with the CFL.
I was gonna say, you think the CFL or even the XFL would take some of these high school kids?
I don't know about CFL maybe. But like you said,
Did the XFL happen this year?
I think it did last year. I think it did.
Because didn't The Rock, isn't he like the owner of that? Like, what's going on with that?
It's not legit to me, but I think physically, yes. Like I see why, right? It's different than basketball.
I think it'd be dope if there's
But if there's a developmental league, I mean, they had, and I remember NFL Europe and Madden.
Yeah, they
technically were like connected to the NFL.
Yeah, because I mean, there's literally players out of those like the UK, like NBA. I think it's NFL London. Didn't one of y'all players?
Maybe
from the Jags.
Maybe.
Oh, you know what? It was a running back. Who was it? I think he used to play for the Eagles. I forget. But yeah, I feel like, you know, there could possibly be a league, or these Power 5 schools. You know, if they're able to detach themselves from NCAA.
Yep.
That could be the option.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, I mean, let's keep it a buck. The SEC is a freaking developmental league.
You had the SEC schools and then
Ohio State. And that's probably it. Maybe.
I mean, there's schools that you could
like
argue.
Oregon.
Yeah. I mean, I think
right now it's
I think at 18. I mean, who's Oklahoma, depending on the year. But yeah, you look at like who. All right, we have this 14 playoff. We expanded to 8. I think they did, right? Did they expand it to 18?
It might have been 12.
Okay, but who's consistently in that? Use this as like as a sample size, right? Like after 4 or 5 years of this 8 to 12 seed playoff. All right, you guys are consistently in it. Let's develop our own league. All right, I think they could do all right, but
I'm sure there's.
But yeah, I mean, last thing I'll say on the whole 18 thing and LeBron, even if he's not directly influencing it, I think the league. I mean, dude, do you know how much money they'll make off of him off of him being in the league, like Bronny being in the league, and especially playing with LeBron? I mean, for the league, it's just that hasn't happened since Griffey and his dad. Right, and in major sports.
No disrespect to Griffey, like this is LeBron.
Yeah. Griffey Senior wasn't. He was on the tail end of his career, but all right. Let's get into the main topic. I wanted to play this because I think it's a powerful message that Becky Hammon sent. But wanted to talk about the Las Vegas Aces. A shout out to the Aces. First of all, that's my son's name. His name's Ace.
That's tough.
You know it's crazy? This is 2 years ago. I like the way WNBA jerseys look. So I just got one for fashion. I got an Asia Wilson jersey. Aces joint.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that I bought that jersey before.
Is she the best player in the world on the women's side?
Arguably. I mean, she got Defensive Player of the Year this year. But I mean, I don't think there's no clear cut.
Stewie's tough.
Yeah, but she kind of struggled in the playoffs a little bit. But just real quick, for those who aren't familiar with them, they bounced around different cities. This organization, right? And they landed in Vegas, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Actually, I think it was 2018. In 2020, they made it to the finals, but they were swept.
Who'd they lose to? Seattle.
I believe it was Seattle.
Yeah.
Now, Bill Laimbeer was coaching at that time, and Becky Hammon during that time was assistant under Greg Popovich with the Spurs.
Arguably one of the best coaches ever.
Yep.
In NBA.
And this season, I mean, this is why I wanted to kind of recognize it, but there's also some things we can learn from it. They had an amazing year. They tied for the best regular season ever. Asia Wilson was Defensive Player of the Year, like I just said. Jackie Young was the most improved player. Kelsey Plum was first team all WNBA.
Achilles injury.
Coming off a big time injury. And here's one of the points I wanted to make. Liz Cambridge, for those who don't know, she's Australian, of Australian descent. Pretty sure she's mixed with like black and white. But she doesn't have the best attitude in the world. And she was on that team last year that made it to the semis. And they had a really heartbreaking loss. But she ended up leaving and going to, I think, the Sparks this year. I watched them
finish the season,
and it didn't finish the season because of mental health. I
but you're on Instagram.
But exactly. Anyways, but I watched like some clips of last season versus this season, and you can see the difference without Liz Cambridge there. Like they look like they enjoyed playing with each other, and they played for each other.
Yep.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about, man, when it comes to just, life, man, is a lot of us, we have a lot of things that, like, we want to accomplish, or we have, like, a few big things we want to accomplish. And from my own personal experience and just looking at others, a lot of times subtraction is the way to get there. Like, sometimes you try to add different things or change different things. It's like, nah, sometimes you just got to remove. Sometimes it's just one thing.
Yeah.
Right? Or
one person.
Or substitute, that thing that is holding you back with something else. So if you've kind of hit a wall or you're, in this period where you're like, man, I've kind of been in the same place and I don't really know what to do. For those who are familiar with, accounting, like do a balance sheet of your life, man. Like what are the good things that are the good habits, the good things, and what are the liabilities? What are the assets and liabilities? And then kind of figure out like, all right, how do I keep the assets and how do I remove some of these liabilities or turn that liability into an asset? Becky Hammon was the first coach to win an WNBA finals in her first season. Oh yeah, like she reminded me of like I don't know. Sue Bird is more like Steve Nash. I'm trying to think what type of.
See, that's my girl.
I'm trying to think what NBA player she reminded me of. But anyway, she could go. And one of the things I liked about this team, man, is they handled adversity like really well. And that's one of the things that Becky Hammon talks about. So.
And I said, and you can tell, man, like they play with joy. Like you said, they play for each other, and you can achieve a lot more when you're playing for the person next to you. And you could tell from, I didn't watch many games, but like seeing a few of their games and just, different parts, like you could tell, man, like they have a chemistry that, is paramount, man. And especially in sports, dude, like I've learned the best teams that I've played on, it wasn't even on the court. Like when you get along with your teammates, like I'm talking like everybody, when you get along with your teammates off the court,
right? Little
things like, yo, we about to go to dinner, like let's rock. Let's go see a movie, or come to the crib. We're having a little cookout, like, and the whole team is there.
Right.
That's a dangerous. I'm telling you, man, that's dangerous. Like my high school team, my senior year, we literally did everything together. Having parties when we probably weren't supposed to be having parties, but I'm talking like the whole squad was there.
Oh, facts, yeah.
Like that stuff matters, man, and you can tell like that team genuinely cares about each other. They get along off the court, and that stuff translate.
No egos,
and ultimately, man, can lead to hardware. So
I mean, they had multiple people who have the right to have big egos. Asia Wilson, yep. Kelsey Plum, very competitive, and she, again, like I read up on her story a little bit, And she definitely has an ego. Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young was the most improved player. She could be thinking, oh, I should be playing more than this person. Or I should be getting more touches than this person.
Actually, when we went to Cancun my senior year, Kelsey Plum, his team was there. She was with Washington. I don't really remember her like that, but I remember seeing her, and then when she blew up, I was like, oh, that was her. But yeah, she's always been a bucket, man.
Right, yeah.
Handles crazy.
Yeah, she's a winner, man. But I wanted to play this clip real quick from Becky Hammon.
It's not by mistake. Every hard thing that I've gone through has built something in me that I've needed down the road. And even though it sucks in the moment to not be picked or to get hurt or whatever it might be, the hard stuff builds stuff in you that's necessary for life, and you'll be using it down the road. It may not feel like that in the moment. It's not really about proving other people wrong. It's proving myself right. My
Clock
journey is
in.
not by mistake.
I mean,
Clock in.
We ended on
so
that.
I mean, facts
We
like
ended on that.
you know, we've been talking about this, and we've brought this up multiple times about putting yourselves in a position, and even like your kids or your people you coach and mentor in positions where they have to go through adversity, because it brings, you see what's inside of that person, right? And that last thing she said, man, was powerful. It's not about proving other people wrong. It's about proving myself right. I mean, we're in a world today, man, where everyone is so worried about what everyone else thinks, like more so than ever, right? And I've been on the I'm going to prove you wrong side of things, like, and it helped, like it worked for me for
It's temporary.
like short-term situations, but
for
longevity, nah. Like I can get someone talks trash to me on the floor, yeah, I can get mad and score 10 straight, but then after that feeling, because it's a feeling. Right, after that emotion wears off, then what am I going to be relying on? Right now, this podcast is called Clocking the Podcast. When you put in the work, when you clock in, and you know who you are, right? It's all now. All you're doing is, all right, I know who I am. I'm just earning my own respect through action and through results. Right, self-talk is awesome. I'm all for it, but that doesn't prove a thing, right? It doesn't prove anything. So, I mean, just taking that clip and that you just kind of alluded to and talking about, going through adversity and proving yourself right. Like I encourage everybody to have that same mindset, because a lot of us are trying to prove people wrong.
I should have, and I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, 2-0, got a new coach, and I think they're going to be special for a while. Like, and it's amazing when you have someone who's like one of your biggest supporters and is in your corner, what that can do for your confidence. Look at Tua, dog. Tua, and I've always been a Tua fan.
Yeah.
But Tua wasn't having a great NFL career or start to his career. But you look at this coach, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Can you find his name? He's very quirky.
Yeah, he looks like a nerd.
But like he knows how to communicate with those guys. And he said before preparing for a Week 2 game against
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
This kid, look at this picture. This dude looks like he's 15.
Yeah.
No, he has like a beard now, I
Yeah.
think.
Let me see.
Oh,
Yeah, he looks mad young there. But he literally told his team, he's like I want us to go through adversity. Like he told his team, like I want y'all to go through adversity. And he joked because they were down. I don't know. I forgot who they were playing, but they were down pretty much the whole game. Came back and won. It was against the Ravens.
yeah.
Because we were watching it.
I thought that was a wrap, man.
Yeah.
I looked again, I was like 21 points.
Yeah, like they were getting
That's gone.
dogged. against the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, like, I mean, they're electric.
He was telling to pass the sticks.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I didn't like literally mean it like that, but my point is, he challenged his team to like, one, adversity's gonna come, man. Like, but I want you guys to welcome it.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good
and
thing.
he didn't phrase it as like, man, like there's gonna be highs and there's gonna be lows, But he set the stage and said, look, man, like I want y'all to embrace this adversity because it's gonna reveal your personal character, but most importantly, our team character.
Right.
And for them to come back and win that game, I mean, to me, they're gonna have a definitely a playoff season.
I believe so too.
But yeah, it was just cool to see that, man, and coaches to communicate that to the players. I don't think that's the problem with our world today. If we're keeping it 100, we're not letting people know because of social media and everything that's glorified that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this crap isn't real, dog. Like, you're gonna have anxiety. You're gonna be stressed. You're gonna, your tire's gonna blow out randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, the unexpected is gonna come, and you gotta prepare for it.
Yeah. Right now, we romanticize the result, and we downplay the work.
Segue into the last topic, I guess.
Yeah, we. This is the Bring It Home topic brought to you by AIKO Underwood, Real Estate. We romanticize the work and we downplay romanticize the result and downplay the work. You all have heard me mention this book, Mindset by Carol Dweck, and it's really a great book for everyone to read for themselves, but especially if you have kids or teach or coach, or even, honestly, you're going to interact with people in general, right? So it's just helpful to read for yourself and to know how to work with others. But she talks a lot about how, with kids, right, let's say, Ace, let's say he's like 3 and he counts his ABCs, says his ABCs right. And I'm like, you're so smart, Ace. She's like, well, that's what a lot of parents do. But here's what happens. When he doesn't get something right, what is the opposite of that? He's going to think, oh, I'm not smart because I didn't get that right. Mm-hmm. So, what she recommends is, Ace, you put in a lot of effort daily to learn your ABCs by doing this. Like, I'm proud of you for putting in the work. She's not, it's not about, oh, you did your ABCs. It's, well, what led you to being able to recite your ABCs correctly, right? And as coaches, parents, right, and even with ourselves, right? And on social media, it's the exact opposite. It's, oh man, like, so and so has a 6-pack, so and so does this, so and so does that, has this. A lot of it is fake, like Austin said, but the reality is, especially these days, because people are trying to sell you whatever. Someone's trying to sell you something all the time on social media, and they're downplaying what it really takes because they know you're not going to buy it. Because people, especially these days, they don't want to take the stairs. They want to take the elevator, right? They don't want to take the stairs. So for us, one of the reasons why we're passionate about the Clock In message and this platform is, it's gonna be hard, and you feel so much better, man, when you overcome it. That's how you build real confidence. You cannot avoid obstacles. You can't. It's impossible to do.
You can avoid it, but I mean,
like you said, dog, your tire's gonna blow out.
Yeah.
Like, that's an obstacle. You can't avoid these things.
Yeah, I mean,
now you can avoid, like, oh, I'm not gonna lift. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do
I'm
this
saying
shit.
there's gonna be repercussions to
Oh, yeah,
you avoiding
facts.
whatever it is you need to fix.
Yeah.
Like when, like when you spend probably too much money and you're avoiding looking at your bank account.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
my bank
I do that all the time.
Yeah. It's like I don't.
But it's
even
like,
know the balance.
I know that. I might have to go to the savings room. Because I'm avoiding that crap, man. But I found a quote from Coach. He said, "We just had a game where we were able to have the lead the whole game. So the night before, I told the guys that I was really hoping that we would get some adversity in this game. And I wanted to see how we responded to a deficit. Apparently, they took me way too literal, hence the comeback that we talked about. But, yeah, man, I thought that was powerful, and it's a great parallel to what Coach Hammond said. And, again, expect adversity. I said diversity. Expect adversity, but expect to fight through it, man, and then overcome it.
Yeah.
If you do, like you said, you're gonna build that confidence that is last. Will last. So.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say before we wrap up, and it kind of relates to this topic. I was listening to another podcast. It's a basketball coaches podcast. The coach was saying, just kind of trying to figure out how to help players with the mental side of the game. Right? They brought up a really great point. Coaches all the time say, "Man, this game is 90% mental," but they're like, "Well, how many coaches work on developing mental skills in their players?" And it's like, no one does that. Well, I'm not going to say no one does. People don't focus on it, right? They focus on plays and skill development and stuff like that. And the coach said, science shows that a negative thought is 4 times more powerful than a positive one. And when the negative thought is spoken, it's 10 times more powerful than a positive one. So when you go through adversity, right, if you don't have the right mental foundation, if you haven't, learned if you're in the affirmations, if you haven't learned the things that you need to say to yourself, if you haven't, most importantly, put yourself through situations that you have somewhat control over, right? To put yourself into the adversity, when the adversity comes, it's not as bad, right? And you're more positive in thinking that, oh, I can get through this. I mean, we kind of have a bad habit in this league of letting teams get leads at certain points, but we never think that we're gonna lose. Doesn't matter how big the lead.
No.
And it's not because, we just we're confident and we're winners, so we're gonna win. No, like we've had to go through some stuff, right? Like I'm sure Austin's comeback win against Chantilly in the district championship. I'm sure that a lot of it has to do with stuff like that. I've had scenarios. Brandon's had scenarios. Walter's had scenarios. I mean, there's other guys on our team, that have had scenarios where I'm sure they can pull back and draw from when they face adversity. But the thing is, if you don't overcome that adversity, if you don't learn how to stay positive when the storm is coming, then you're not going to have anything to draw from when the next thing comes, right? So that's all I got. Episode 83. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, comment, share on YouTube. Follow us on IG at Clock
Tell
and
a friend,
Phone.
man.
Yeah, we love hey man, that was a great episode, but pay it forward, right? Pay it forward and share it. Because a lot of these messages that we talk about on the podcast, they need to get out into the world. So appreciate y'all.
Great episode, man. Yeah. See y'all next week.
Clock in.